Good evening, everybody. This is our first budget work session for fiscal that we're going to be considering for fiscal year 2024. Today is Monday, March 13th, 6:30 p.m. Our first department that we're going to be visiting with is our library, and our library director, Trish Tomlinson, is here. Hi, Trish. And Michael, if you want to walk us through it, and
Sure.
if we have questions, we will.
Yes, of course. Good evening, everyone. I want to actually start with a few housekeeping issues. First and foremost, I think before we get into tonight's deliberations and discussion, is about tomorrow night and the pending storm, right?
Oh.
So I thought we'd address that. We have some options, although we've already been notified that Nutmeg TV will not be here tomorrow night. I don't know what. And again, it's still a little too early to tell. I think we know we're going to get some accumulation, and it's going to be a long duration storm and so forth. So I was going to just take some time tomorrow to evaluate, unless, of course, you feel right now that you just want to move that. We have some options. You could move it tomorrow's, put it off and move it to Wednesday. We could piggyback after Board of Education on Wednesday. And or we could pick it up Thursday and make it, part of capital. In either case, I think we can accommodate that way if you decide that you think it's probably in the best interest to be safe and move that meeting. But again, it could be a bust, and we could have 2 to 4 inches. I don't know, and it could be blacktop out there. I don't know.
So the advice is right now just to wait and see what happens and have us think about Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday, we only have the Board of Ed, which,
Right.
I don't know, that could take a
Yeah,
while.
we-
It's hard to say.
if we
To
don't-
move all of these, we could maybe just move everybody
Yeah.
along. Have Tuesday on Wednesday, all these Tuesday departments. Wednesday, we'll move to Thursday, and then capital will move to next week. You know what I'm saying? We'll just.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we have
Does
the.
everybody agree with that, or?
Yes.
I don't know how,
like that idea.
I don't know how the availability is for you guys.
Yeah, I personally like that option.
Move them,
Yeah.
move everybody.
It works well, yeah.
Shipped, okay, and just because
I'd
we
rather make
have
the
Board of
decision
Ed
tonight, yeah.
scheduled already for Wednesday, I think we keep that scheduled for them and then place the ones that we're displacing for Tuesday, tomorrow night, on the back end after we take care of Board of Ed, just sequentially, I think. And then we can, that way we get them out of the way, and then we can go back into municipal and then go into capital and go for Thursday night, kind of sets up sort of keeping that in line, if that makes sense.
Okay,
It's fine with me.
I guess that'll work.
It's fine
If we
with
get
me.
too tired, we'll just go home.
I think in the interest of safety, you might want to hook up Zoom for Wednesday. I don't know how long this storm is going to be in effect. Like you said, it's a slow-running storm.
Yeah,
You might have people there be coming in that might be out of town, and might not be able to get here.
Who's out of
No, but
town?
I'm saying, is it going to
Uh,
run into Wednesday?
no, I think it should be cleaned up by Wednesday morning. That's my
Yeah, that's what the latest.
read on it, so
Is that what
it should be
everybody
okay.
heard?
Yeah,
That's what I
yeah,
heard.
it could go
Like
until Wednesday
tomorrow.
morning. I heard that on Channel 3 at 5 o'clock or whatever, yeah.
Unless something changes in the model, right, it should start petering out by Wednesday morning. So anyway, I think we can go with Wednesday and
Yeah, that sounds
subject to
good.
change. We also have Thursday as an option.
Okay, well,
That's good. Make that decision.
let's see what happens tomorrow. We'll have some options, if we, that's a lot of departments to throw in with the Board of Ed. Usually we
Yeah.
get through them relatively quickly, but,
Okay. We can just, if you prefer, Thursday might make more
That's
sense.
fine, too.
Yeah, because I haven't been through a Board of Ed, so that's probably a time-consuming, and you probably won't have enough time to add on Tuesdays. So maybe with
Yeah.
just capital on Thursday, match both municipal and capital together.
Yeah, the Thursday meetings or as scheduled for capital, it might be better to have the chiefs of police and fire and public works, all of them with capital,
Because they all
because
have
the
capital.
majority of the capital
Right,
costs
yeah.
are
Yep.
related to
Yeah.
those organizations anyway.
Oh,
So
that's a good idea.
keep Wednesday as Board of Ed, period. Move Tuesday's whole agenda to Thursday.
yeah, that would work even better because of their capital.
Yeah, they're all of those departments are capital-related items too, so to have them here to discuss if necessary might be beneficial.
So move tomorrow night to Thursday night?
Yeah,
That
I think.
How
if
we're,
it-
Yeah.
where we're
Okay.
leaning towards?
I
Fine
think it
with me.
makes sense.
I think that's fine.
That way it keeps the Board of Ed separate and you can
Yep, I
do
think
whatever you
we
want to do
need to
with
leave
that.
them by
Yeah.
themselves for a lot of reasons. You know, conversations get going. So, yeah, why don't we move Tuesday? Unless it's just a rain event and it's not a big deal, we'll keep it, but we can move them to Thursday potentially. Good with that? Everybody? Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to make the final decision.
Michael,
make
Final
will let us
decision
know tomorrow, right? You'll let us
Yeah,
know?
yeah, I think we'll all have a pretty good handle. Once we get through
Mm-hmm.
mid-morning, afternoon, we'll have a good idea of where the forecast is and, you know, what's changed, if anything.
Okay. Okay?
Sounds
Great.
good.
Okay. Super. Yeah, so we're starting out, and again, for a lot of these budgets, you'll see, obviously begins with the top line of personnel. You'll see a 3% factored in for contracts and salary increases. And of course, there are some management, mostly management and contractual, and then also some part-time minimum wage issues that you'll see as it goes into effect to $15 an hour. That has affected certain portions of departments with respect to the part-time salaries. So just a couple of,
Michael, when did you say that goes into effect, the 15?
I believe it's June 1st.
June 1st, it goes to
June 1st,
15.
yeah.
Oh, so any part-timer is $15 an hour? That
If they're
includes
not already at minimum wage, but majority of
Summer-
ours are at minimum wage.
Summer
right?
helpers and
Yeah,
pool people and?
yep,
Dispatchers. that-
dispatchers, yeah,
There's a big number.
yeah.
Across the board, when you look at it, I mean, department by department, it's a, yeah, significant number.
And typically, the part-timers, they do not have benefits and things of that nature. They just get paid their hourly rate?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So, library is line 520, found on page 267. Overall, it's a $24,062 increase, representing 3.15%. A majority of that 13,000 is the top line for personnel, both the full-time and part-time salary. 7 full-time, 7 part-time employees there. And they have had some changes, staffing changes at this point, up to speed, and some new faces there. But anyway, that pretty much drives that. There are some small increases and some small decreases, I guess, with respect to supplies. And then there's other services and charges and other contractual 435 line item, which is a reduction or cancellation of a subscription for Consumer Reports. That's $1,200 savings there. But then as you go lower to energy and utilities, lines 510 for electricity is a jump, and that reflects the increase in terms of the cost of increases. And of course, I don't know that you have any extended hours. I don't think it's use. It's just essentially the rate for that. So that's where we are. I don't know if there are any specific questions, but that's $24,000 increase, 3.15%.
I have a couple questions, Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Just in electricity, the current year, I noticed, as of March 6th, you're at just under, well, a little bit less than 15,000 for the year. Yeah, I'm sorry, Rob, I'm probably going to put you on the spot more so, but you're estimating $45,000 for the cost of electricity, and seeing that that's 7 of the 12 months, it would seem to me that we're going to come way short of 45,000 with everything being equal. But my question is, what can we? Is it a timing issue with invoicing or payments? Is that what's causing? Because at 14 or 15,000, we'd be around 25,000 for the year. If you
Right, it's, yeah, no, we're,
It's a timing issue.
it's a timing issue of the payment cycle
Okay,
for
all right, I
for the
just want-
electricity.
okay.
We should be right around 45,000. Currently, The amount, again, your budget books are delayed and
Yeah,
like
yep,
we always
no, I
have, so you know
understand,
that. So currently, as of today, we're about 24,000.
Okay,
So,
I just want to make
right,
sure we were,
and that covers us through, looks like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 months.
okay.
So 24 times 2
All right.
would be
Nope, that makes
48
sense.
plus or minus.
And just with and I'm moving to the revenue side. I noticed that the use of fund balance is the recommendation is to use 69,000 and change, which is an increase from what we did the prior year. And I know we've been kind of watching the library fund balance, and I caught on page 251, it talks about the library fund, and it has a fund balance in the 885,000, like is that different fund? And I should probably know the answer to this, I apologize, but when I saw that number,
I won't say anything.
Yeah, thank you. Don't embarrass me, right? But I remember thinking that what was available for fund balance was much less than that, and that's why we're being careful how much we were taking to balance out the budget.
Remember, the fund balance for the library is broken down into 2 components. One, endowments, which is the majority of the fund balance, the $800,000 figure you see,
Okay,
and the operational side of the budget. The operational side of the budget, primarily 100% of our expenditures,
okay,
and the majority of those expenditures are offset by the general fund contribution.
yep,
It's currently $665,000 and change.
yep,
So the operational fund balance doesn't really change that much year to year because we're spending what we're putting in.
yep, yep,
The $69,000 that's shown there is a balancing act by the library board just to make the expenditure budget equal the revenue budget.
yes,
It may be used, it may not be used,
Okay.
depending on the year for endowments, because both components of fund balance work together.
Yep.
It's just that we're budgeting for one piece of that component,
Correct.
and it happens to be a very small piece of that component.
okay. All right, thank you. All right, I'm all set.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
I have a question. With the electricity to the line, the column that has the difference of the amount of manager requests for this year and the estimated for next year, and then the estimated 45,000, it's really a 5,000 difference, so I'm wondering why there's a 10,000 increase in that difference line? It should really be 5,000 there, and then
No,
the
it's
difference-
budget to budget,
Budget
not
to
estimated to budget.
40,000.
Budget to budget's 10,000, 40,000 to 50.
Where's the 40,000? Oh,
In the
all that-
adopted
okay.
budget, the adopted
Gotcha.
budget column is what the comparison shows.
okay, gotcha.
goes from.
Thank you so
Yep.
much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
And that's based on current rates, Rob, that we're
Yeah, and the
looking
rates,
at?
the rate increases, as you all know from a personal standpoint, went into effect January 1st. So our second half of the year, if you will, all things being equal, kilowatt hours used and all that will be a little bit higher. Now, we also entered into a contract for supplier purposes with Constellation years ago that we're getting a much better rate than what we would be getting through Eversource. That rate, I believe, goes through, that contract rather goes through, I believe, December 31st of '26. So with the help of our electrical consultant, we were able to shave some of the potential increase off with this contract, but at the same time, we still get hit a little bit with Eversource's increases. So we're fortunate in a way, but we still have to pay a little bit more overall.
Okay. Any other questions for the library?
I have a question to Rob.
Go ahead.
Has the town looked into solar panels for various buildings around town? Now, I know we did it at Linden Street School. I don't know what the outcome was with that. I'm sure it was a big savings. Just curious, because I know that the electric companies are offering all kinds of deals. Not the electric companies, but the solar companies.
Yeah, we have several. I mean, we were part of a solar farm that's in Wyndham that we've had for years. I don't remember how many years actually, but the virtual net metering. We do get offsets. The library budget does have one of those offsets. That's one of the accounts. So we may not have solar panels on the building per se, but we are getting benefits of the solar farm we bought, or we pay, we use, if you will. We have, Linden Street, yes, there's solar panels on that building. The high school, there's solar panels. We are looking actually we just entered, what's it called, Andy? I forgot what it was called.
We currently are going out for
Going out.
RFP to seek for additional solar panels on all of our schools, and that's out and will be closing in May. So that essentially will include an assessment and then installation of solar panels.
The technology's changed a lot. So the panel, the roof, if you will, I believe, of the high school is essentially technologically obsolete. And it's almost 10 years old. So, I mean, it is at its useful life. The newer technology, the newer incentives that Eversource is offering, this is why we're out. It's a lengthy process. A lot of it's run through our electrical consultant who helped us with this Constellation contract over the years. Does a very good job for us. Like Andy said, it goes out till about May. We'll see what comes back. But the incentives should provide us with some help if, we go through with these projects. And as they come due, well, obviously it'll come in front of you as the council to decide what to do.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions regarding the library budget? Any questions for Trish? Read over all your nice things that you prepared for us with visits and projected more visits and people and a lot going on there.
Yes, we're very proud of it. Been at the helm for 5 years now, and I have definitely seen progress in terms of services and events and staff development.
Okay.
Thank you for your
You,
support.
could I just ask one quick question? Pre-COVID, how do the numbers or the anticipated projections that you have compared to your pre-COVID numbers? I think.
Still down, I would say an estimate of about 30%.
Oh, really?
of
Okay.
pre-COVID numbers. We do compare them every month.
Interesting.
Comparison,
Yeah.
month-by-month comparison. So, yeah, and that's,
Oh, thank you.
I didn't see.
And that is across the board, statewide, and I would even
Yes.
say nationwide.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. We're lucky to have a lot of library services available virtually
Oh,
through our
okay.
website, so that helps as well.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
thank you.
Any other questions before we ask for a motion to approve? Motion to approve, please.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move to approve the library budget.
Second that,
And the amount of,
The amount of,
sorry.
we just need,
yeah, Dave was a little bit quick there. The amount of $787,523, yeah.
okay, I have a motion and I have a second. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now, do we have to do anything with, is there another fund that's connected with the library that we have to approve, or do we do that later on?
Yeah, I would wait for the Department 840 and the Town General Fund budget, which
Okay.
has the contribution out to this fund that covers the fund balance we talked about a little earlier.
Perfect. Okay, I guess we're all set. Thank you very much, Trish.
Thank you.
Okay.
Happy
Have a
planning.
good rest of the night.
Good luck on tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yep. Oh, thanks. Yep.
We have library trustees tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, next we have Sean and Rhonda.
201.
Okay, we're on page 201 is the commentary, but the budget number is actually on page 205, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, Michael?
205, they have a $12,383 requested increase, representing 3.44%. And again, top line personnel for part-time and salary increases that really drive this increase of 12,000. The personnel costs are 11,869, split between full-time and part-time salaries. So 3 full-timers, 8 part-timers, and then there is a very small increases below in other services and charges that show up in other contractual and maintenance contracts. And that rounds out the senior center budget for 20.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions regarding our senior center budget? I do want to say, if you didn't get a chance, you should read through the nice descriptions that Sean provides, because there is a lot that goes on there. There are a lot of people that come in and out of there all the time, and they provide a lot of essential services for our seniors. So it is a very busy place, and they have lots of fun ideas upcoming for the next year. So you should look through it. They do a great deal, and they do a lot of their own fundraising to support a lot of their programs. So yeah, they do a great job there. All right, no questions, then I am going to, would you like to say anything, by the way? I mean, I did all of it. Well, of course, you do
Sean.
a great job, the both of you, and I want to, could you put your microphone on? There you go.
Okay. Well, thank you for seeing us tonight, and thank you for those kind words. We're very proud of what we do, and we try to have a wide variety of programming, and we kind of run 3 businesses. We run transportation, we run a cafe, we run a nursing service. We have a lot of different things. And we have some really great programming that keeps people very active and involved. We always say that the people who need us the most never walk through our doors, so we have a social worker who is probably the busiest person in town. And she's making such a difference in people's lives. She is helping people every single day, learning how to live on what little income they have and finding ways for them to get more income. It's just amazing the kinds of things that she is able to do. And then we also do a lot of scholarships through grants and fundraising that help people who can't afford nursing care to be able to afford it, or who can't afford foot care or a mammogram, or I don't even know what else. Oh, the Peak Fitness Center, working out of the...
Can you move your microphone?
Oh, yeah.
We want to make sure everybody
Okay.
out in TV land can hear you.
Okay. So I guess we're thrilled to be there, and thank
Okay.
you.
No?
Did you have anything you wanted to add? No. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you.
Could I just
for
ask
that.
one question?
Sure.
Just looking like the next 5-7 years, let's say, like, what do you think some of the resources that you may be looking to either add or increase as we move forward? I know, we are aging, and especially Plainville, I believe, is aging. Like, is there anything that you see coming down the pike that we should start at least thinking about, if not preparing for?
Sure. You wanna go ahead? It's we always have problems with parking and space. Those are our big issues, and we just adjust to it the best we can. But it's quite a we're tossing the balls in the air all the time, trying to make sure they don't fall on the ground. But we have gotten to a point where we are able to really pack a lot of people into that building, and it does make for a very active and electric kind of feel in there, so that's kind of fun for people. We are looking at doing some upgrading to our sound system so that we can help people who have hearing problems maybe be able to hook into a Wi-Fi and just turn on your hearing aid and be able to hear things from a microphone, or that's one of the things that we'd really like to do to make it easier for people who come with hearing problems. Hearing aids are just really difficult to adjust to, and if you've ever lived with somebody with one, it's not easy, and so we'd like to be able to do that. I would love at some point for one of our tennis courts to be able to have pickleball, because people are asking for pickleball, and that's the fastest growing sport in the United States, and we would love to be able to, maybe do something with a tennis court that could do both, do tennis and pickleball. That
We
would
could ask Courtney that question next.
Yeah.
That one we could address that maybe tonight.
We
Madam
also
Chair,
have, and transportation is a big issue at the senior center. Prior to COVID, we were running 2 drivers and sometimes 3 drivers just to keep up, because we used to have just 1 driver in the morning, 1 driver in the afternoon, and that was enough. But then it became, well, the morning driver had too many people, so now the afternoon driver comes in for more hours. And even at that, now before COVID, we were bringing in a another driver
Okay.
who would help that all out. And then on top of that, we have a town car and our own cars. And sometimes we had 4 drivers at once, meaning us driving. It's just a big need for people. We don't, all of the doctors are, a lot of the doctors are moving out of town. They're moving towards the hospitals,
Yeah.
big clinics. And so we provide transportation to 5 towns, Southington, New Britain, Bristol, Farmington, Plainville, and the VA. So that's a lot of outside work, which a lot of towns don't do. Many of the surrounding towns just go to their town.
Yep. Yep.
We have to be all over the place, and we have not chosen to do what some towns do, which is on Wednesdays we'll go to New Britain, and on Thursdays, it just doesn't work. People don't, doctors don't schedule like that. You have to be able to go wherever they need to go, and medical is our first priority. We got some bad news about the cost of vehicles going way, way up, almost doubling in cost. And but we've always been successful getting a grant. We just have to come up with more cash match, basically, because the state doesn't have it and the feds aren't giving it at this point. And they actually took away some of the subsidies. So I see transportation as being an issue. And it's hard to find drivers. We've been without a driver since January. And we've, it's been very tough. We work with different agencies to provide ADA transportation. That takes a big bite out of our responsibilities. STS is Senior Transportation Services. We wrote a grant so that we could offer their services at much less, no sign-up cost, because we got that through the grant, so that it's affordable for people. We have a lot of seniors who are not able to afford a taxi. And even though there's a taxi program that does the first 8 miles for $5,
Yeah.
some people just can't afford to rely on that. So that's a big issue as well. We are really proud of our nursing services, and that's very active. And thank you for helping us with that in health and welfare. That's really an important issue for people, because Medicare does not cover foot care anymore, and the diabetics aren't covered as they were, and that's just really tragic. So we're able to do that because we have an APRN providing the foot care.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Underwood.
I was wondering if you could put together a wish list of things that you would like to see happen.
Okay.
In addition to the wish list, if you could put cost on it
Okay.
and where your problems exist within the senior center. You said the transportation of people getting back and forth to doctor's visits. So what I'm looking for is a wish list with cost and problems that you're encountered, and maybe we can help you with some of it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. That would be great. And it'd be, we used to, if you'd like to come down to the center and we could actually show you, we'd love to do that. Show you some of the things that we deal with all the time. Rhonda's like in charge of you can't have a room unless you know Rhonda, kind of. And that's because everybody wants a room, and everybody, and sometimes we're having 2 things in one room and things like that. So it's busy, it's active, and yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think one of the things at the last executive board meeting that I attended, one of the very looming problems in Plainville is housing for seniors. Now that's enormous, enormous problem. The senior housing that currently exists is a subsidized setup that's been there for many, I don't know how long it's been there, for a very, very long time, decades and decades, which is federally subsidized. And many of those programs are no longer available.
That's correct.
But it doesn't eliminate the future need for senior housing for folks that are going to be coming into that age group that are going to need housing. And certainly we're not alone. We're not the only town that's going to be facing that. I think that's one of the looming big question marks out there is, what do you do?
Yeah,
down the road?
subsidized versus affordable. A lot of developers will put up housing and have affordable housing, but that's affordable if you make a lot of money,
Right.
A 1-bedroom can be $1,100, and, nobody not nobody, but very few people who we are in contact with could afford an apartment on its own at $1,100 a month or something, so, yeah.
So,
Is there any grants out there for housing, federal or state?
Not a lot. There's a lot that, and on the housing as it was with just senior housing and subsidized housing is now senior and disabled. And you'll find that, at a time when all the baby boomers are needing housing, and not all of them, but at a time when they're really needing housing, they took away a lot of the housing for disabled. Instead of building disabled housing, which was needed
they're all going
anyway,
together.
it was all put together. And that's a tough thing because there were a lot of apartments lost, and building more disabled housing would have been a better solution.
Yeah. There's a lot to know about what happens with needs of our current seniors and future. So I think, I know Courtney's waiting for us to take up her stuff. But it would be interesting if, you're interested. I know Sean and Rhonda would be glad to have you come down.
Yes.
They could take you through the center. They could explain some things that are
Yeah.
on the horizon and some of the day-to-day issues they deal with. And that would take a long time to do that. But there's a lot that goes
so much,
on.
yeah.
So I'm just suggesting that
Yeah.
maybe we could do that at a separate time, if that's okay with you.
That would be great. Yep.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
All right, so a motion on the table to approve department, where's my department number?
420.
420? Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Rosemary.
a motion to approve the senior center budget for, let's see, $372,710.
Second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, okay. 425 is the senior center, it's on page 267, correct?
Correct.
That's the transportation one that we're going to just take care of also. Here we go.
Yep. 269.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Michael?
Yeah, there's $11,691 increase, 17%. It's essentially in the top line, personnel, part-time salary for that position. And again, there's struggling to find a replacement, very important program and service, and looking to hopefully attract, drivers. And it's trying to work through HRA. And we're struggling a bit, but trying to put our heads together to figure that out. But that's it right there. Not much with respect to the other services and charges. It's just the personnel in terms of trying to get drivers
Okay.
or adequately attract drivers in terms of a salary and a rate.
And just one question, Madam Chair. Just with the $30,998, what would that, if you had enough drivers, how many drivers does that pay for?
That's one more than part-time driver. That's
Okay.
the man that fills in, does afternoons, but always is there in the mornings.
Yes, okay.
And he also does a lot of other things like taking care of all of, when we have to get a bus out and driving it to a place to get it fixed or something. He makes sure that all the vehicles are filled. He makes sure that in the wintertime he comes and scrapes off the snow and takes care of the snow and ice and that kind of thing. And so he does more than just drive.
Yep, okay.
He's really amazing. And right now, we are trying to hire, there is someone that HRA has looked at that they are doing some vetting on and waiting for references and that kind of thing. So we're hopeful. We're hopeful.
Great. Thank you.
It's just it's very difficult everywhere to find drivers. And we are in need.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just one question. Michael, did you say what this other contractual was on
The
here?
other contractual was a decrease, but I don't have the detail on that.
That's other contractual is the money that we pay to HRA. We're in a coordinated transportation with Human Resources Agency of New Britain. And we have been in that type of a relationship for over 34, 38 years, something like that. It started with Bristol Community Organization, as they were the anti-poverty agency that serviced Plainville. And we were with them in a coordinated transportation system. What that means is that we share administration, we share dispatching, we share state reports, we share software, so that we're not each place trying to set up a whole transportation system. And so they take care of some of the hiring, all the hiring of drivers. They take care of dispatching our vehicles, although we do some dispatching as well. When it becomes, when it's the day of, we're doing a lot of dispatching because people are coming in and asking us for help and so on and so forth. And then they're also keeping statistics, which we do also, and then give to them. They do it in their state reports. They do ours at the same time that they're doing theirs. Off they go. It's just an easier way to save money. The State Department of Transportation, 30-some years ago, 40-some years ago, almost 40 years ago, offered us a whole lot of money if we would try this. They did this all around the state and wanted everybody to try it. And we were one of the only places, Central Connecticut and Bristol and Plainville, that gave it a try and made it work. And it does save money. It's something that has helped us when it comes time to get a grant. We get extra points for having that coordinated transportation system. So it's been helpful.
Okay, the question I have on it
Yep.
is that what was budgeted for last year was the 43,863, but what the estimated is coming in is 30,000, but then we're budgeting 42,000
Yeah,
for this year. So I don't understand why we're budgeting 12 more than what's actually coming in for this year.
This particular account, and I know Rob can explain it better, is made up of a lot of different sources of income. The town of Plainville has one contribution to this account, which is 31,666, something like that?
31,662, yes.
662, okay. I should have my notes out. And then we also get a state grant of $18,381. We also do fundraising to the tune of $12,000 a year. We also have fees. They're called fees and services, but we don't actually charge a fee. We ask for people to give donations if they will. And you wouldn't believe the number of donations we get that keeps this alive. So when you look at the whole program, the contribution from the town of Plainville is at $31,000. The others is all the money that is brought in other ways. And so that money also can accumulate. It's not an account that goes back into the general fund at the end of the time, because some years we might get tons of donations and then other years we don't, depending on whatever. Or grants or whatever keeps us going. We spend a lot of time making money to keep transportation going. And so some of the money coming in is to pay for our fee for the driver, the hourly wage for the driver, and the HRA fee for their administration, dispatching, that kind of thing, state reporting, that thing. Then comes somebody who is our driver. Pierre works for us. That's the grant one, the grant driver. That is ours. We switch things around a little bit because we found that we do not have a part-time driver at the moment, a per diem driver, and we haven't for a while. So we had to put more into one account into the grant driver position, less into the other because the other drivers were not doing as many hours. if that makes sense.
And that amount that's on there at 16 is not current. Currently, we spent around 20, and that 20 was through the month of December,
So what is that gonna
So-
make the estimated
40
income? Okay,
plus or minus. I mean, again, and there's also increases in what HRA is charging us due to,
Yeah.
you know, the driver's salaries and things like that too, so. The 42,694 is based on a number of hours and drivers and increases that HRA is passing down to us.
all right, okay, thank you.
Okay. Yep. Any other questions?
Just to clarify too, Madam Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
now, if we didn't use HRA, there would be, I'm assuming there'd be additional administrative cost on site in Plainville, correct?
We would have to have a dispatcher. We would have to have someone that does the state grants and the reporting. There's a lot of, you have to report how many miles, how many medical, how many use the lift, how many are in protected groupings. And our poor drivers start that program, and then it goes to the dispatcher who gets it off the computer, some of it off the computer. So, yes, you're absolutely right. It would mean that we would have to have probably a full-time dispatcher because it's very busy.
Right. And
Or two part-time dispatchers, whatever would work out best.
and also the administrative, like you said, this just the state reporting, the data collection and reporting, yeah, okay.
And then, they are doing all the payroll. They also provide some very limited but good fringe benefits for the drivers, which helps to attract some drivers. They have some sick time, some holiday time, things that we don't have for our driver.
That's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah, that is a good thing. And that's because, again, they're a large organization and they can do that because they're handling all the payroll. This would mean that we'd be doing more payroll,
Okay.
more.
Yeah, I assume that was the case, but.
Yeah, but thank you.
I thought
That's
it was a
very good. I
thing
should have
to
said that.
Actually
I-
clarify that, yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Okay.
Good questions. Good questions.
Any other questions or comments? If not, may I have a motion to approve, please?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
motion to approve Department 425 in the amount of $78,592.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Thank you.
All righty, thank you
Thank you so
very
much for
much.
coming tonight.
Okay, good to see you.
Really appreciate everything you do for us.
Okay, next we have Courtney from Recreation Department.
It's item 510, found on page 221. The request in total is $7,267 increase, representing 3.9%. All of it, the only change in terms of personnel for the three-time, full-time, no part-time positions in the top line. And that's it.
Not much there. I mean, it is there, but
Nothing we can really cut there.
Yeah, everything
much to
remains the
talk
same.
about. All right. You have anything you'd like to share with us in terms of upcoming programming? I know you wrote up some of your commentary and a
Yeah,
lot of
no.
stuff. So anything, new things that you'd like to tell us about while you're here?
So, I mean, I did want to address the pickleball court. Like I said, definitely on our radar. I did get a quote for that. It was in the ballpark of, I believe, like 300,000. Those courts at Norton are in pretty bad shape. We are going to start looking for steep grants and other ways to kind of subsidize that. But it is definitely something on our radar. We know it's something that's very popular in communities, and it's something that we do want to utilize. So I did just want to address that.
Madam Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
and simply, you could put a pickleball court on like a tennis court, correct? Or can you not?
So you can, however, like I said, the state of those, like if you go take a walk on them, there's tons
Right,
of
and
cracks.
I believe we're looking to address the Norton Park tennis courts. So, I'm wondering if there's a way to kind of put blue lines on the court instead of white lines.
That was the plan. We were going to do one full tennis court and then one combo court and keep
Okay.
it kind of up as a
Yeah,
pickleball
yeah.
court unless somebody needed it for, like, let's say a tennis game
Yeah,
or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So that was kind of the plan that we were looking at,
Okay.
was one
'Cause it sounds like we
pickleball.
have an opportunity with redoing the Norton Park tennis courts that we can maybe incorporate something, but,
At least-
okay,
Yeah, well, yeah,
thank you.
that's, yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any other questions for Courtney regarding our recreation programs? All right, may I have a motion to approve, please?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
motion to approve Department 510 in the amount of $193,822.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Should we do the special fund? We're doing that too? Okay.
Yep, that's on page
259?
Yep, I think it actually pops up on 261.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you have a $10,430 representing 3.86% increase, again, in the top line for the part-time salary, and a bit for the full-time salary there, those two items.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Michael regarding the special fund for the Recreation Department? Can I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
motion to approve Department 515 in the amount of $280,450.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Courtney.
Easy, huh? Thanks, Courtney.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thanks for coming. Okay, next, Mark DeVoe,
Sorry about that.
page 111.
So partially.
Good evening.
Is that right?
Page 35, I believe, for,
Oops, sorry.
yep, account 111.
Sorry, I'm, it's Department 111. Sorry.
Actually gonna be 37.
Yikes. And it's early in the evening and I'm doing that already.
Yeah. Give that back to you. So, throwing it around. Hey, Mark.
How are you, Mike?
Good, good. Yes, page 37 is, no, that's not right. Yeah, page 37, planning and zoning. Page,
Am I on the right page?
Yeah, 37.
Planning and zoning is the first one.
35.
Yeah, 37. You have a page 37? Oh, yeah. So planning and zoning, so I guess that's the first one.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I
got
just
it.
ask a quick question
Sorry.
while we're looking for the
Yeah.
page? But and I know it's not a big account, but looking back previous years, we've never really spent what was budgeted, and I'm just curious for this year. We've spent $254 to date. Is there a reason we have? We've spent a fifth of the budget through half the year. Is that whatever?
It's 354 now.
Okay. Is there any reason to think we're going to get to 1,200 or?
You've had staff, myself, doing minutes
Okay.
because of issues, family health issues.
Okay.
So that's a big chunk of it.
Okay.
A lot of it is professional development. There's a new requirement that the Planning and Zoning Commission now earn 4 credits each. I'd like to maintain my professional development account,
Okay.
even though I don't use it as quite as much as we
Yeah,
used
yeah,
to.
yeah.
And it's for that reason. It may in the future be able to wean off a little bit. but,
Okay. I just had to
no,
ask.
That's a
if-
good observation. You'll see that to be true in each of the departments.
Okay.
going forward.
All right, thank you.
All set?
Yep.
Okay. May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to fund Department 111 in the amount of $1,600.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Page 43.
The Inland Wetlands, account 113, numbers appear on page 45.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Yeah. Mr.
motion to
Mazarko.
fund Department 113 in the amount of $1,000.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Page 112.
Yeah, I think we'll invite Cal up to join Mark. Mark, you don't have to go anywhere. We'll come back to you, I think, the next one.
Oh, do you want us to just finish Mark and then, or does it matter? We have them,
Either
Yeah,
one.
we can.
doesn't matter,
Yeah.
okay. Economic Development. Hi, Cal.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing all right.
Good.
Fun. I don't have to shovel tomorrow, right?
All right. Michael?
Yes, I'm just trying to get to my page. Economic Development, actually on page 115, the numbers there, $11,065 representing 14.54%. All of that is in the full-time salary for Cal. That was the adjustment, I'm told, that the council made prior, or after, I should say, the budget was adopted, so we've got to make that adjustment, and then the 3% that's factored in there for his wages. So that's the explanation. There are no changes on his professional development. It's the same. That's it.
Okay. Got some exciting things coming up, Cal?
I hope so.
We have a lot of stuff on the horizon.
Yeah, mainly White Oak. Hoping for the best out of that.
Do you mind just
Oh,
speaking
just-
into the
oh, yeah.
microphone?
Oh, yeah, either one. You have your own. Turn that.
Oh, yeah, that's better.
Yeah, mainly White Oak. Hoping to keep things rolling with that. I know we have some news coming hopefully soon from Mike Mastriani on the state side, and then continue on with the Manafort Group. They've been great up to this point. They want to see this project done, and we're doing everything we can to make it happen with them.
Do we have something to fill the hop house?
Hop House, yeah. So Mike Miller, who owns Hop House, is opening up a Salty Dog Tavern, which is another restaurant under their management group,
Okay,
and I believe that's set to open at the end of May.
okay, thank you. That was a little shocker.
Yeah.
Go there for lunch one day and they're locked up, so, yeah.
There's a sign application for the Salty Dog, so they're moving forward post haste.
Oh, okay, good,
Okay,
thank you.
Sounds good.
all right. Can I have a motion to approve, please?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Underwood.
motion to approve Department 170's budget for $87,165.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thanks, Cal. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, page
remember that?
182.
Yep. Planning 380, numbers appear on page 185.
Okay. Okay,
And there is a requested increase of 2,707 for a 2.71% increase, and that is entirely in the full-time salary for Mark in the top line, the 3%. There's no other changes in that budget.
okay. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Kat.
How are you?
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, how's everybody?
Good.
Uh-huh.
Dandy.
All right.
Madam Chair,
May I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion to fund Department 380 in the amount of $102,657.
Second.
Okay.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mark, you have anything you want to tell us? Anything exciting?
Just, working with Cal and, keeping busy otherwise, trying to move just a lot of small stuff along. Answering the phones, emails, just trying to respond to daily inquiries from the general public. I get a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, just same old. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Could I just ask, I do, the Americold, I call it the ice cube, but like, is there, and I don't know if you're the right person, but where are they as far as operations, ramping up operations?
Yeah,
Do
their
you know?
CO has been issued.
Okay.
Finally, just over the past week. They're still having some technical issues with the fuel cell installation.
Okay.
Getting the refrigeration down to where it needs to be, but they are staffing up, and they're moving forward. We should see trucks on the road, unfortunately,
Yeah.
within, I'm going to say, 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
We
I was
should
just
see
curious, yeah.
operations.
I'm curious to see what, as far as truck traffic,
Right.
how many go off to 177 and how many decide to go down Route 10. I'm
Yeah,
just
well, there
curious
you
to see
go.
that.
Yeah, we're
but-
supposed to be at a little over 100 trips per day.
Yep.
Exactly which route they're going to take at this point is unknown.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments for Mark? Do you have anything else here tonight, or you're all set? I think that's
I
it.
have conservation, and I think there's a decrease of 300. I don't know
Yep.
what that amounts to in percentage. There's really nothing there. I just do want to say before I go, what a great job Cal is doing, and I think you already know that. So
Uh-huh.
I won't belabor it.
That's nice of you to do that.
He's
Thanks for
killing it.
letting us know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
And also, Mark,
Okay.
thank you for the great
Thank
job
you.
you're doing.
Thank you.
Yep.
Coming back.
Thank you.
Okay. Page 211 is
Yeah, item, account 440.
youth services.
Youth Services, right? Numbers appear on page 213. Neha is
Good
joining
evening.
us. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Okay, Michael.
Yes, item 440, Youth Services, request year over year is a decrease of 1,706, or a 1.48% decrease, and that is all in the top line with respect to full-time salary, with SNEA coming in, the outgoing director being at a higher rate than the new director coming in. So
Oh,
that
okay.
gets reflected there, but there are more hours in the part-time, but still a decrease given the full-time and part-time comparison there. So there are more hours for that person that's coming in under, all being partially funded with a grant.
Yes, the DCF grant.
DCF grant. Yeah, so that's the top line, except for, other contractual, small increase of 175 there. But that's pretty much the picture for youth services.
Okay. Michael, back to the part-time. Did we add a part-time person or,
I believe you did last, I'm not sure when you did, but,
I want to say it was in August. So we had a Kim coordinator that was originally under the youth service umbrella.
That's
So
kids in the middle?
yes, kids
Okay.
in the middle. Sorry.
No, that's all right. I just want to make sure.
So the Kids in the Middle was partially funded by DCF and the United Way grant. What I decided to do after kind of looking at the department and the needs was to move some surplus that was in the full-time salary line to part-time. I rewrote the part-time salary to put it as a program coordinator position so that I have more flexibility with that position to do more programming and not just Kids in the Middle.
oh,
And this line item is offset, like we said, by the state grant.
Yes.
That we budget in the revenue side of the budget.
the entire cost is offset by state grant
We get about.
for the part-time
30
position
yes,
you're talking
yeah,
about?
Yes.
Yes.
We're getting about 38,000 this year, I believe, something like that. 30
There was an increase.
There was an increase, yeah, I think it was 32,000, and went up to 38 or 37, something like that. But it is, yes, it is offset by the state grant.
Okay. Do we see that in some of your intergovernmental stuff? Is that where that shows up?
Yes, yes, that's in
Intergovernmental
45530, I believe.
Okay.
So the transfer that we're talking about here, which you don't see because it was internal, was $7,500. So we transferred $7,500 to part-time from full-time earlier in the year.
Okay.
However, the way our budget book is prepared, you're looking at the adopted budget versus the adjusted budget.
Okay.
Okay, and again, that internal departmental transfer does not go in front of you. The fourth quarter inter-department transfers go in front of you.
All right.
Council to approve.
Thank you.
But if I showed you that transfer amount in here, you might be screwed up from the adopted budget this year to look at, so I don't show them. There's not very many of them, but this particular instance there happened to be.
Okay.
Okay,
And so are you really busy? You have a lot going on? Well, you did give us some statistics and
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm close to a year in this position, and it's been pretty exciting. I love the different hats that I could wear, and it's always changing in youth services. I'm never doing the same thing for a long period of time. We are kind of thinking about the new school year going ahead. We've got a lot of ideas for after-school groups and groups for the high school. Currently, we're working on a mental health series with the Board of Ed. So given current circumstances and situation that happened in our community, we felt it was important to educate the community on mental health resources that are available. So we're doing a two-part series. One will be in conjunction with the Superintendent Showcase. So we're doing a mental health resource boulevard, which is going to have a lot of different mental health resources that service our town. They're going to be able to set up booths so that parents can ask questions and understand how to ask for help, whether it be mental health related or substance abuse related. So that's the first part that we're doing. And then the second part that Youth Services and the Positive Youth Development Coalition is doing is we're going to do a mental health panel, which is going to happen in May. We're going to have a couple therapists and the school support staff available to answer questions that parents might have about how to get resources in school, understanding more of the role of what guidance does, what school psychologists do, what school social workers do, and kind of how to understand mental health in a school system. So that's the second part that we're doing. On top of that, we have 38 students in our Kids in the Middle program, so we're staying busy with that. And then we're doing babysitting courses, safe sitter courses, safe at home courses, and then we have a lot of great things coming up in the fall as well. So we're staying busy.
so regarding the mental health programs that you're going to be running, do you also provide parents and children with resources outside of the school if they need professional
Yes.
guidance or, what the school cannot provide? Do you have that ability?
Yes, so we
to
have the
suggest
ability
that?
to, the contractual that you see, we do have a contract with CJR for a full-time clinician. They are primarily in the school system, but we also have a great relationship with Connecticut Junior Republic, so it makes it very easy to transfer families there, to give that referral if they needed mental health services, to match them up with a clinician. They have a substance abuse counselor, family therapist, the full nine. If they can't fulfill that, Steve was kind enough to let me tag on to the Care Solace contract that they have so I can make referrals through there for families. But we also do our job to advocate. So if parents have questions on understanding PPTs, 504s, anything like that, we do sit with families and kind of walk them through on what to expect as well.
Do you perceive this as being a growing concern in our town?
I think that's a hard question to answer only because the youth field is always forever changing. There's always going to be a mental health need that we're seeing. And I think the increase that we see now is coming off of COVID. So a lot of what we're seeing is anxiety, depression, substance use. So we kind of have to ride that wave out until we foresee it. But we're also doing a lot of prevention work to make sure we're doing signs of like early education and educating parents on what signs to look out for, where you can get help, what to kind of ask questions, if any. So we're doing our best to kind of prevent it from anything else happening.
Yep. Those are hard topics.
It is.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? So may I have a motion to approve Department 440, please?
Madam Chair,
Either one.
you want to go, Dave?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Deb.
Motion to approve Department 440 in the amount of $113,785.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very, very much for
Thank you.
coming tonight.
Thanks. Take care.
Oh, Rob is next. Okay.
Right,
Next is
so
Rob
my-
Uden.
My first budget is Board of Assessment Appeals. I like to call Sarah Carey, our supervisor of assessment and collections that come down too. Between the both of us, we'll go over the Board of Assessment Appeals and the Assessment and Revenue Collections, Department 137. The BOA is the, the annual appeal process for taxpayers to appeal assessments. This line item, part-time, there is no change to the budget this year, by the way, $1,900, 0% change. The part-time salary is a stipend given to the three members, three members, and our recording secretary.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
motion to approve Department 114 in the amount of $1,900.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
And while Sarah's here, if it's okay with you, can we
Sure.
jump to Department 137, which starts on page 93?
Right. Numbers are on 95.
Numbers are on 95. So this budget overall, we're looking at an $11,590 increase or 2.92%. The majority of which is all sitting in personnel. And like you'll see as a recurring theme throughout a lot of our budgets is Sarah, it took us 5 months to find an assessor. The salary rate was higher than the incumbent who left the previous position. On top of that, we also have 2 staff members who are on steps, also newer. So their increases are a little bit larger than the 3% you see there. And I can let Sarah talk to the rest of the budget if you have any questions on the operational side of the budgets.
Yeah. There's really not much change that you can see. There was a small increase in education or professional development for the office. Like Rob said, we do have some newer staff members going towards their certification, as well as myself working towards my tax collector certification. But I did try to offset that with a decrease in the operating supplies. But of course, contractual services are up, as I'm sure you see in a lot of other departmental budgets. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. Okay, can I have a motion to approve, please?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
motion to approve Department 137, budget $408,310.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're all set. Thank you very much for coming tonight.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
So we can backtrack a little bit to Department 135, which is the town treasurer. This is just the stipend that is paid to the treasurer on an annual basis. Increase of $194 or 2.99%.
Can I have a motion to approve, please?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Wazarko.
like to make a motion to fund Department 135 in the amount of $6,676.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next department is the Finance Department 136, which I believe begins on page 89, 90, something like that.
Numbers on 91.
91. You'll notice there, overall increase of $4,480 or 1.78%, all of which is primarily in personnel costs. The salary increases are lower overall because my staff person, my bookkeeper, is started at a lower rate than in this case, started at a lower rate due to union contract based on the incumbent that left.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve, please?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
motion to approve Department 136 in the amount of $256,805.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Insurance is next on our list.
Page 107.
So this department has various components to it, as you know from past years. The overall increase is $17,555, or 2.60%, based on the current estimates that we have for our primarily workers' comp and LAP policies, or LAP policy being liability, automotive, and property. We do not have actual premiums yet, as established. We will be getting those over the next month, 5-6 weeks or so. And if any changes come up before your process is complete, we will give them to you. However, these are our best guesstimates at this time. I can tell you that we do have a part of the volunteer fireman line item is the Balloon Fest policy that we know is going to be starting again. So based on I know we have some meetings coming up with it. There's a $3,500 allotment here. That may change, it may not change, depending on what you want to do, how you want to go forward. We can certainly adjust that down the road if necessary, if you want to make any changes to it. But that is 50% of the assumed premium for the firework liability policy that we have to have.
Works.
Fireworks, yes. The other half of that component to the line item is for the volunteer firefighters insurance policy, VFIS policy. That's an annual policy. You can see the detail on the other line items below that. The main property insurance line item are cyber insurance, drone, flood insurance. Flood insurance is going up, and I believe I mentioned to Mike this morning or the other day that our floodplains have changed a little bit, according to Mark DeVoe. So there may be changes in this. Right now, this covers just the fire department building. There could be other changes, which I believe may incorporate the police department and police complex too. I'm unsure. Until we get actual redefined lines and things like that. Our underground storage tank, I want to point out to you, that is assumed $11,130 premium. The only underground storage tank we have is at Roadways, which is our gas, diesel. And that tank is coming up to its end of useful life. I believe the 25 budget will be the last year that we will probably be able to get insurance for that tank, as its useful life is expired. As you know, we have some discussions on the roadway facility. This being I feel the most critical piece of that facility, whatever we decide to do with it. If we don't get insurance on that tank and there's a failure of whatever, it's huge. So. The workers' comp is below that. I do know that there is a 0% increase on the workers' comp policy. However, the costs do go up based on salary increases of employees. So again, the overall increase is $17,555, or 2.6%.
Okay. Any questions on the insurance department that we have?
Madam Chair, if I could, no questions, just a point, just to point out my experience in other communities, the cyber insurance. I think the town should be applauded for, a decrease in premium, and as opposed to a very significantly escalating, what I've seen in previous positions, that 50,000. North of 50,000, 75,000 in terms of premiums, in terms of cyber insurance. So to have an integrated department and really proving their weight in gold there. So that's just my observation.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this in other meetings. We entered into this off cycle, in other words, non-fiscal year based. So I believe our policy, if I recall this policy correctly, I believe it is November 1st through October 31st. We purposely did that when we went out to market, and this is through our insurance broker. Insurance brokers help. We went off market simply because, insurance companies are overwhelmed, if you will, at July 1st premium renewal dates. And they just throw out numbers, and you have to have the policy. Here it is. Like Mike said, north of 50,000 is a very good number. We got it, 21,000 plus or minus going forward this coming year. When we received the policy, we received grades that were through the roof high, very good. So to Mike's point, our IT department should be applauded for everything security-wise we do for all of our software, including, all your iPads, everything we look at, our emails, our tax system, our website, our admin system, the security measures they put in place for everybody across the board, emails, both on the town and board side. The insurance companies couldn't give us enough accolades for how strong our security was, for a municipality. In the private sector, it might be a little different, but in the public sector, like in most line items, we're behind the times in a lot of things we do. But in this case, we were right on top of it. So, Kevin and his staff from IT really deserve, and they stay on top of it because we get quarterly updates from the insurance company. They check on us. So they try to send us some phishing things. They try to send us some spam, blocks out. So it works. So our software works, whatever Kevin's doing from a security standpoint works very well.
Okay, thanks. Okay, can I have a motion to approve insurance, please?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Motion to approve Department 160 in the amount of $693,700. Sorry about
Second.
that.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Yeah, Jacob.
Although, any further questions for Rob with this? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next one is solid waste management, page 197.
Yep.
So all the line items here are detailed below. Everything you've seen before. This is primarily our garbage collection contract with CWPM. This fiscal year will enter into the 24 fiscal year, will enter into the 7th year of an 8-year fixed rate contract for the primary garbage collection, garbage and recycling, which are pretty much the first two line items you see. First of all, the budgetary increase is $84,775, or 6.86%. You can see the detail again. The fixed rate contract hasn't changed, but other components to these line items have changed, such as our tipping fee from Covanta. That is up 4%. Based on 6,000 tons, that's $436,000. In our recycling, again, Covanta, our estimated fee for automated material handling, we're budgeting at 75. We budgeted $45 a ton this year. We are currently paying about $90 a ton this year. So the 75 was kind of our best guesstimate, pick in the middle. I did just get the bill. In fact, for February, it was $91.89 a ton. So 75 may be low, but this market fluctuates wildly. 45, I think well, I know now, we did budget it too low for 23, so we are going to come in over on this. I don't even know if I should put it here. I might have estimated, but we are going to come in over on this line item this year. And the other two remaining line items are the gas and diesel components to the CWPM contract. CWPM fills up their trucks for our garbage collection purposes only using our facility, and no different than what you see at the pump when you go fill your personal vehicles. The prices of gas and diesel have gone up. Sam at the Board of Ed and myself locked in the rates early, well, earlier anyway, than we normally would. However, our increases from budget to budget are up over, $1.25 a gallon. Had we locked in a little later, like timing-wise in the course of a year that we normally do, that $1.25 would be a little more along the lines of $1.50, $1.75, if not $2 a gallon. We've also increased the number of gallons used by CWPM here for diesel, not for gas, but for diesel, as they are using more diesel than we originally budgeted, rather within this budget. So, those increases look pretty dramatic. That of the 84,000, this is almost 28,000 alone. in the utility lines.
Okay, does anybody have any specific questions for Rob regarding this department? All right, may I have a motion to approve, please?
Madam
Any-
Chair,
Go ahead.
motion to approve Department 415 for the amount of $1,320,152.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay,
The next line item is debt. The overall budget is a 0% increase, $0, 0% increase. These numbers should look familiar to you. It's the same budget number we have budgeted for, I believe, the last 4 years or so, at least at this level. And this covers our principal and debt interest payments on all of our general obligation bonds, any bands, if we have any outstanding, which we do not currently. Everything is fully bonded. And then the miscellaneous costs will one, be associated with any, if we do go out to market for whatever reasons, be legal fees, market fees. We get re-rated by the rating agencies. Those fees would come out of here. And or be transferred to, as designed, the difference, if any, in this fund will go to the debt management fund, to be used for future debt swings that go up and down within our debt budget if we go out and do more bonding.
Madam Chair,
yes.
question for you, Rob. I just want to clarify. The miscellaneous costs, you said there are costs associated with the issuance of bonds if we go out to bond.
Correct.
Do we anticipate going out to bond this fiscal year?
That's up to you as the town council.
So if we don't go out to bond, we could reduce the miscellaneous cost item budget to something more in line with.
Well, I would not recommend that because future debt was going to go up. You're going to have to go out to bond at some point in the future. And as designed, this project or this concept of keeping debt level funded has worked for many years. This money should be going to the debt management fund if it's not used for debt itself, to help the swings of future years when you do have to bond for something. If something catastrophic happens that we need to go out to, that we need the money now. We have to go out. It wasn't on the radar screen. You're looking with interest rates the way they are right now. It's we'd be lucky to get in around 3.5%, 4% interest rates. So again, as designed, I would not recommend lowering that because you're going to need the money at some point in the future. So if you can save it. What we have done, unfortunately, though, is use this savings, if you will, in this line item to cover CIP. And our current request that you'll see whatever night we're going to do CIP is requesting, sorry, 600,000 of it. So that's really not savings. It's being used for other things that we're not budgeting at the level that should be budgeted at.
And what's in our debt management fund at present?
$16,000, which will not cover the cost of a rating agency's review, which last time we did that was 30,000, 32,000, something like that. Normally, and it really depends on the size of the review, how in depth they're going into the review. Our our FA averages about 17,000. Bond counsel for going out to a debt, again, depends on the size of the debt offering, but it's usually around 25, 30 as well. So, what else? What other fees are involved? That's pretty much all the fees. You may have some miscellaneous fees. That's pretty much it for bond offering.
So Rob, just for my education, on page 226, which it's got your spreadsheet of all the,
Oh, yes. Yep.
all the debt that we've got out there.
Yep.
And fiscal year 21 actual was $4,015,270. So it came in 415,000 less than the $4,450,000 that
Right.
we budget for, correct?
Correct. But then when we do the fourth quarter transfers, we're transferring the money out of the 4.4, using it for other departments that we're covering. So instead of doing an additional appropriation that we've, over the years been fortunate enough to minimize to either police overtime or utilities, for lack of a better way of,
And
we
so-
transfer this money out to cover the other departments that are doing additional appropriations.
And the same thing occurred in FY '22. There was a 1,015,315 less spent than
Right.
the 4,450,000,
Right.
and that was the same thing that was used to cover transfers.
Well, the majority of it's used to cover CIP.
It was for
I'm sorry,
CIP.
I said the estimate for next year is at 500,000. This year, I'm sorry, in '23, we're using 600,000 of it. So when we do the CIP, if you look in the budget book before Thursday, whenever we do CIP, you can see the
It's coming out of
requested-
debt management.
Yeah, it's being transferred out of there. So theoretically, it's going from debt management budget to debt management fund to CIP. So again, this is what we kind of talked about, one-time revenue sources. If that were, if we weren't to cover CIP, then this money would be sitting in debt management to be used as designed for debt management. We designed this fund, I don't know how many years ago we created this fund, a long time ago. Predates me, I think.
So can you tell us what in the next, you don't have to do this right now because maybe it's going to take some of your
Yep.
thinking. But I'm looking at your schedule that you have here, and it looks like the next, 2027 is going to be the next refunded 2007 series that's going to come off our schedule. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah, let me just.
It says at maturity, it's refunded 2007 Series A. It comes off in 2027, right? Is that what that maturity means?
Yeah, I mean, the next dip, yes, exactly. The maturity date, 20-year bonds, yes. So if it's a 2007, yes, it'll come off in 2027. So yeah, we have some swings going forward, which means the capacity to do something that you may need to do. That's how we've done it cash flow wise. So when something comes off, if there's a need to put something on, that's when we put it on. So again, the impact is minimal to the taxpayers. So our swings, they could, depending on what you take out going forward. Currently we have some mature debt on here. So there are going to be decreases going forward, depending on what else goes on the books at the certain time that we need to put something else on the books for whatever reason.
Okay. Okay, it's interesting because that's a large number that we budget every year, and yet we're actually using it for other purpose other than debt.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So again, it's kind of the one, how we've kind of phrased one-time revenue sources that we, want to try to get off of, this being one of them.
Historically speaking, out of that 1 million, how much of it do we use year to year for other?
Five to 600,000 at a minimum for CIP. To your question of what the debt management fund is, 16,000, it hasn't changed in 3 years. So that having been said, if we're averaging $1 million a year, then we're using the entire $1 million every year for other purposes.
And that covers any departments that come in higher expenditures than budgeted?
Yeah, I mean, there could be a myriad of reasons why that may happen. For whatever purposes, yes. But again, try not to use additional appropriation because that's an immediate draw to fund balance. The money's here. It could be used, or otherwise it goes into another fund waiting to be used, i.e. debt management fund. Use it right away for other purposes, which is part of their charter in the fourth quarter only. Then you're using the money that you're already generating versus having to dive into a fund balance account and write a check right away. That's what the theory behind keeping this level funded, and we've gone back 8 years, maybe 15, 16, 14, 15, 16, we started this level funding process concept. And the thought then, again, was to build up that management fund to save for future debt offerings. But again, you're looking at a very, very good historically low market in this time frame as well. So, our cash flow concept was, well, let's use this money for other purposes because our debt management is really, really low. We, in this time period, have also refinanced all of our debt at lower rates. So our debt, the only debt we have on the books was the latest offering, which was August, I think, of 22. That is the only one that's above 3% interest rate, I believe. Again, we timed the market previously with all our other offerings that we could refinance, that we did. So I think we've done very well with our debt management fund over the years, specifically the last 7 to 8 years. And I think the concept that we offered you or presented to you in 2015, 16, whenever this started, works. I think. That's just my opinion. You can tell me otherwise. But that's up to you guys.
Do we know what our fund balance is going to come in at the end of this fiscal year?
I should hopefully know by next week. At the end of 23, I'm still waiting for the 22 audit, which I should know by next week.
Right.
I have a idea, but obviously that's the final number. That's reality.
So what's your idea?
We're going to go down. The fund balance is going to go down. And one, because of the use of fund balance, it increased by $824,500 this year.
And 400 and something, 24,000 was part of paying off our,
Right, and so in 22,
Okay.
it's going to go down a minimum 824,500.
Okay.
In 23, all things being equal, it will go down 424,500.
Mm-hmm.
All things being, again, if we hit the budget right on expenditure and revenue, everything comes at exactly the same. Those are the only draws we have right now. However, there is also the budgeted use of fund balance for CIP that I have not presented to you yet, that I will be giving Mike to present to you at a future council meeting. Off the top of my head, that is one number I don't remember, but I believe it's around 500,000 or 600,000. So that'll also be an immediate draw. So you're probably going to be lower, all things being equal again, by $1 million in 23. Percentage-wise, we still may be in the 15% ballpark range, rather, which is close. Our policy is 12 to 14%. So, we could be in the 14 to 15% range. But other than it's giving you rough estimates I just did, I don't know for sure yet. But I will shortly, hopefully. I should get the audit draft, excuse me, from 22. Like I said, hopefully by the middle or end of next week. It will be done and out the door by March 31st.
okay. Oh,
Madam Chair,
yes,
I would like to hold off on approval of the debt service until we get some
okay.
more accurate numbers for the fund balance. Because, Rob, if I understood you correctly, you said the fund balance you're thinking is going to be reduced by $1 million from our use of it in 23?
23, yeah. It'd probably be going down about $1 million in 22 and $1 million in 23 at least.
Okay, and in 23, if I remember correctly, we were going to use roughly 1.5 million, so we're ahead of where we should be with that, right? I think we said we were going to use
Well,
425,000
Okay, so,
capital projects.
right. We're using 500,000 for capital projects.
Yep.
In 23. The financial statements as dated June 30th, 22, which is the draft I will be getting next week. Your unassigned fund balance is going to go down as of that day and time, June 30th, 22, $824,500 at a minimum, because you committed an additional $824,500 of fund balance to offset the mill rate in 23. So remember, the fund balance has many components: committed, assigned, and unassigned. When you use money to offset the mill rate, you're taking it from unassigned to committed. So that comes out of your percentage equation. It's gone right off the bat, as of that day and time only, June 30th. Again, if we use the fund balance during the year for additional appropriation purposes, that too comes right out of that number and comes off your percentage. So like I said, at the June 30th, 22 numbers are going to go down. The fund balance is going to go down a minimum $824,500 plus additional appropriations that were taken out during 22, which I don't remember off the top of my head. And in 23, you're going to go down a minimum $424,000 because that was already an appropriation in August, I believe, and the $500,000 or $600,000 we're using for CIP that will be coming to you in a future council meeting request for CIP.
Could you, not to belabor this whole conversation, could you actually create a spreadsheet for us?
Oh,
or
I
something?
have use of fund balance, unbalanced percentages. Yeah, I have everything. Yeah,
Okay.
I can pull that
Okay.
together for you.
You'll have all of that, the most current information for us.
Yeah, again, I usually, how my spreadsheets go, usually audited or unaudited. So, the unaudited number is my guesstimate at the time. And so that'll be at 22 until I get the draft. If the draft is good, then I'll show it as audited. But there's a lot of information on the spreadsheet because it covers multiple pieces of what we're trying to do. But it will show you exactly what you need to see, yes.
And you'll have the audit by next week.
More than likely, I'll have a draft of it, then I gotta go through it, look at it, make sure it's all, good to go, and then give my approval. But the audit will be issued, whether we have physical hard copies by March 31st or not, but it will be issued and out to, well, the agencies we need to get it out to by March 31st. And then the hard copies will come subsequent to that. And that's, again, for June of '22, and we're pretty much already in the June of '23 process as well. So there are a lot of timing issues that, again, I have to incorporate in these spreadsheets, which takes, kind of follow the bouncing ball.
Okay. All right.
Madam Chair.
If you could have that for us, that would be most
Yeah,
helpful.
absolutely.
This is complex.
It is,
use
yes.
of
It
large dollars.
It is.
And could I ask also, as we're gathering all this information, if we were, like, for example, were to say we reduce this by $500,000, just what effect, and you don't have to answer it now, but what effect would that have? Because I know, we have all this 4,400,000, we have it accounted for, like we're using it to help with this budget. What effect that would have, for example, if it was a $500,000 reduction? In my head, it means we have to find a $500,000 somewhere else, as far as a revenue source. I guess, I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but just if you could think about that as well as you're going through the.
Yeah, you just hit it as a revenue source. So you would have to fill what you use that 500,000 with other sources.
Okay.
If you were going to budget it expenditure-wise at the same level.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so any further questions, Jacob?
Oh, no.
At this point, you're all set. Okay, we're going to hold off on
Yeah, you can do
approving
that.
this
Yeah,
because
sure.
there's a lot of other
Sure.
things that some people have. So we'll hold that one out, debt service.
Yep. The next department is 820, which should start around page 230, employee benefits.
Yep, numbers are on 231.
So I'm going to give you a little pearl here, and you can make your first cut. So the budget, as you see, is $4,756,823, or an increase of, let me just find the right file.
471,000.
Yeah, it's a 471, okay. I'm bouncing between files here, so I apologize. It's an increase of $471,070, or 10.99%. The biggest components of this year's change are reflected in the police retirement line item. This is a combination of the changing of the pension plan multiplier that was approved by the council, I believe, in late June of 22.
Where are we? I'm sorry.
The police retirement line item.
Police retirement, okay, thank you.
So you see the request is $1,065,773, but I am going to help you out here in a minute. But that, again, the increase was the pension multiplier, I believe, from 2.25 to 2.65. We also had we had two early retirements that are factoring into our actuarial value here that needs to be paid over time. We also have we had the unfortunate death of an individual as well, which is factoring into this. And then on top of that, you had the market tanking. So our asset performance was not up to where it should have been actuarially. So our increase up $273. Wow, I wish it was $273,462, or 34.51% just for that one line item. However, latest information, as you know, we always try to make things as accurate as possible. I just got word, I believe, on Friday that we can lower that line item to $1,058,652. So if you want to make a cut to this budget in totality, you can make a cut of $7,121. I will give you these new numbers in a second. Let me just finish my soliloquy here, and we'll be good to go. The remaining items on here, the biggest item, in addition to the police retirement, is our medical insurance. Again, our medical insurance has been highly documented. We started this process off at a 12% increase, which then the state recommended we do 10%, and the latest information that just came out on, I believe, February 28th indicated a 7.1% increase. So we are budgeting, again, with the latest information, a 7.1% increase. However, our demographics In other words, our policy, our employees and how they have, either single, two-person or family coverage varies. So the 7.1% is an average from the state, but the individual components of the policy premiums fluctuate. In our case, we're looking at about a 10% increase in total, or $205,000 on just that one line item. I don't expect these numbers to change too much. We get our next update, I believe in April, but I'm not sure of when in April. Is it before or after your process is complete? Given the timing of our process, I believe it's going to be after our budgetary process concludes. So I do not expect this number to change for budget purposes at this point. However, if it does before your proceedings and signing the request out to the public happens, we will give that information to you as soon as possible.
So Rob, the Board of Education's medical, we are going to reduce, correct?
Right. So their timing was such that they already presented and the Board of Ed had already approved their budget request to you, which I
Right.
believe was on February 15th. We didn't get this information until subsequent to February 15th. So we had time before we gave our budget to you.
So
To
this
incorporate it.
number actually reflects the reduction?
Yes, this
Of the
goes to
7%.
7.1%, but again, our demographics indicate that we need to make a different change. But yes, so the Board of Ed line item is that still at 10%, while ours is at 7.1.
Right, I guess here I am confused again. So you said that it came in at 7%, and we're going to adjust the Board of Education's expenditures
You
down
can
to whatever.
if you so choose
the
to reduce
reduction is.
yes, you can
Okay.
reduce theirs to 7.1.
So, but the town side, we're not going to make any changes to this, even though you're saying it's 7% because of the components
Yes.
of what we do?
Correct.
Of that?
Right. This line item is a catch-all too. It is not just only employee health insurance. It is the insurance we offer to retirees if they have so many years of service. The stipends we offer them, again based on contracts. We obviously, as you know, we've had a lot of turnover in the last year and a half, and I believe our retirement numbers from a former employee have doubled. Again, those folks that are pre-65 have the opportunity to stay on our health care plan, paying 100% of the rate. But we have to budget for 100% of the cost. Obviously, as you get older, your insurance policy premiums increase. So the retiree piece of the state partnership plan that we are on for retiree standpoints, whether you're pre or post-65, are a little bit higher than 7.1%. So
Okay.
again, this is a catch-all line item. I have all the detail, but we also have employee contributions coming in, the amounts that retirees pay us for this too. So this is a net number, no different than the Board of Ed is a net number. But this is the net number
Okay.
we feel we need at this point in time. However, like I did say, the budget that you see in front of you of $4,756,823, we are recommending you reduce by $7,121, coming to a budget of $4,749,702, an increase of $463,949, or 10.83%. If you want those numbers again, I can give them to you.
Okay.
Yes, please.
So the bottom line budget would be $4,749,702, which would be an increase of $463,949, for 10.83%.
Okay. Any further questions before we leave this exciting area?
Madam Chair, the 7,000 came off of the police?
That 7,000 came off
the
of,
police
yes,
retirement,
the
right?
police retirement line, yes.
Okay.
We unfortunately had a retiree pass away, and the pension that goes to his spouse is less than what he was receiving.
Okay.
That's the
Yeah, I
change.
know you had said that
Yeah.
would be there, but just wanted to confirm.
Yeah.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve,
Madam Chair,
please?
just could I ask one question
Sure, of
first?
course, yep, go
Is there
ahead.
any way, since we moved away from the self-insured, is there any way to do any analysis like that we are in a better place than, I know we're still technically paying off.
Well, the better place is that our health insurance deficit is now zero.
Correct.
So when we moved to the state partnership plan, if I recall correctly, The deficit was around $2.5 million, $3 million. Our plan was to resolve that by the end of fiscal year '24. With the additional appropriation you did this year of 424,000 change,
Yep.
we're zero.
Okay.
So we expedited the removal of the deficit essentially by $2.5 to $3 million over the 3-4 year period we designed, and we were actually able to do it a year earlier than possible,
Good.
than we thought of originally.
Yep.
And that had to do with, the rates, instead of being 12%, they're 7%. So that difference goes into the,
Yep.
things like that. So in
So, yes.
summary, yes, we're
Yes.
doing better to the tune of about $2.5, $3 million over the last, since we went to this partnership plan, yes.
Thank you. I'm all set.
Okay. All right. Motion to approve, please. Department
Madam Chair.
820. Yes. go
I'd
ahead.
like to make a motion to fund Department 820 in the amount of $4,749,702.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Okay. Michael. It's 30.
On to item 101, Town Council. Numbers appear on page 33. The increase there is
Oh, our picture
10,007.
made it into the budget book. At the first. At the first.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Should have been a little bit bigger, I think.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's big enough, okay?
No taken for the official budget.
Actually, we all look pretty good.
Yes, a $10,737 increase, 14.45%, primarily driven by $10,000 for the audit, under other contractual 435 line item, and
Why is that?
and a 737 in the agency subsidy.
Okay. Can I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
motion to approve Department 101 in the amount of $85,046.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion?
Just one question. So the audit is going up from 40,000 to 50,000.
Part of the audit fees budgeted in the WPCF sewer fund as well.
Okay.
So, but yes, our audit fee went up this year, which,
I just want to make sure I
Financial-
understand it correctly.
yeah, our fee went up 15% this year,
Okay.
and it's going to go up again in '24, yes.
Okay.
The market is extremely tight. There's
Okay.
only 2 or 3 firms out there that actually do governmental audits now, so,
All right.
yeah, I know. Well,
Can't we
Yeah.
do it ourselves? No.
oh, yeah, right. I need about 4 more people on my staff, so you want to, give me $300,000 instead of 50, we'll do that.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. I'm all set.
Okay. May I have a motion, please?
Here's two.
That's right.
I thought we,
Did we do the motion already?
Yeah.
I made the
Sorry.
motion.
We just have to vote.
Sorry.
Did we vote?
Got lost in that conversation. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Next is 116, the Conservation Commission, and the numbers are found on page 53.
Madam Chair? Oh,
yes.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to fund Department 116 in the amount of $1,700.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. Item 119, Veterans Council, found on page 57, a decrease of 5,355, a 17.46%, excuse me, my eyes are,
47.
it's 40, okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
motion to approve Department 119 in the amount of $5,928, I'm sorry.
Second.
Shoosh.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
There is that reduction, I think that's in the Veteran Strong Community Center that's headquartered in Bristol, I believe. Was that removed?
Exactly,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
just no response, well, I don't say no response, but there's no defined, there's no explanation of the benefit derived for this community, my understanding, and that was the rationale in terms
Right,
of
yeah.
reaching out to have.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, our council chair came to us and said, we're not using them, don't budget for it.
Right, yeah, I was just going to ask, if there was any data that showed that, veterans from Plainville were using it, yeah.
Yeah, that's part of what we have a very active Veterans Council, as
Right,
you know.
yeah.
And so
Meetings now.
they are essentially doing the work of Veterans Strong. So he said at this point in time, we don't need to budget for them right now.
Okay, yeah, so that was the recommendation of the
Yes,
Veteran
that was the
Council.
recommendation of the council, yes.
That meets every Monday, usually.
Yes.
At the same time we do. Yeah.
All set, Rosemary?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thanks. Next is the Recycling Committee.
Did we vote?
Found on,
Oh, I thought we did.
Yeah.
No.
We just need to vote, right? We have the
Yeah.
motion.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a motion on.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I wrote okay before we did that. Okay,
next is
Recycling Committee.
121, Recycling Committee, found on page 61. A reduction there.
Madam Chair, motion to approve Department 121, the amount of $800.
Okay,
Second.
motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 63, probate.
Yep, probate, 130 is located on page 65. There is an increase there of $1,500. Rob had explained to me that the $8,000 has probably held for the last 4 years. They hadn't sought any increase, and, $1,500 increase didn't seem to be, a big deal. But
Okay,
that's your decision. So I put it through as an increase of $1,500.
okay, can I have a motion to approve, please?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
motion to approve Department 130 for the amount of $9,500.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next department, Town Manager's Office.
Yep, 131 can be found on page 69. And there is a $19,261 increase for 5.47%. And that reflects the fact that I came in at a higher salary than Robert was going out at, so. And,
and you can see what we're estimating for this year, which is substantially higher than that, based on the overlap of
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, motion to approve, please.
Madam Chair?
Mr.
I'd like to
Lazarko?
make a motion to fund Department 131 in the amount of $371,261.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 71.
Yep. Item 132, Human Resources, numbers are found on page 75. The increase there is $7,152 for a 4.81% increase. Most, if not all of it, is on the top line for the full-time salary, which is the HR director and assistant, those two full-time positions. So that and just a very small increase in the development line item at $25.
I have a motion to approve.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to fund Department 132 in the amount of $155,890.
Can I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, next is Item 133, elections. The numbers are found on page 79. The request increase is $15,256, 22.05% increase. And that is driven by a couple of things. The top line, part-time salary, minimum wage increase there for the poll workers is driving that. A small increase of $926 in the part-time salary regular, and the ballots number increase of $10,100 is for ballot production or ballot printing. And then just some miscellaneous with professional development dropping, but an increase in recruitment and training, and a drop in the other contract.
The recruitment and training is going back to in-person training with the hopeful ending of COVID. And I think Cindy can speak to it. There's more conferences and requirements that the registrars and assistant registrars have to go through. And, potential changes within the state legislature for how you vote and when you vote and things like that. So it's all part of this.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve, please?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Underwood?
motion to approve Department 133 for a total of $84,440.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Oop. Motion carries. Department 134.
134, the town attorney. Numbers can be found on page 83. The increase request is the 3% for an increase of $3,435, a 2.52% increase. That's the only change, is the 3% increase.
Can I have a motion to approve, please?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Underwood?
motion to fund Department 134 for the amount of $139,690.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next is 155, data processing, and the numbers can be found on page 103. The increase there requested is $17,166 for an 11.67% increase. There is a small operating supply increase in the top line there of $100, but most of it is being generated by the other services and charges, namely 450, the maintenance contracts, and of course, other contractual. The maintenance contracts cover the Microsoft Office 365, the email servers, and also QDS tax and assessors, and software and ClearGov budget. And I think there's a few other, I might missed one or two there, but there's a whole group of software with various functions that we have historically paid, and those fees are increased, and that's what's driving this increase.
Well, all of our security at the insurance are policies that the insurance companies created. Well, our firewalls is a cost. That firewall is in this line item that protects us from, the spams and the phishing and all the bad things that are out there. This is where Kevin's cost for that security comes into play as well. On top of all the other, every software we use is pretty much in here. Looking at the computer right now, our Microsoft, our QDS for tax purposes, like Mike said, our admins for general ledger purposes, everything is in here.
Now, do we know, is this the increase due to just what we already have existing and the costs are going up, or are we adding anything new?
We are not adding anything new.
This is just because
This
of
is just,
increase.
increases, just general, inflationary cost increases.
Okay.
But, we're not budgeting for the full impact of inflation in most of our line items. However, these are this is what it's going to cost to have us use this software. We kind of have to budget for it.
Okay.
It's an actual bill.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve, please?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
motion to approve Department 155 in the amount of $164,314.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next is 165, General Administration Services, and the numbers are found on page 111. The increase there is $278 for a 0.3% increase. Much of it was the changes in the other services and charges offset the salary increases on the top line.
Okay. All right, may I have a motion to approve, please?
Madam Chair?
Yes,
A
Rosemary.
motion to approve Department 165, General Administrative Services, for $92,420.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Thank you. 150, Town Clerk.
Town Clerk
97.
is found on, numbers are found on page 99. The requested increase is $15,593 for a 7.87% increase, and driving that is the personnel full-time salary, increase $11,890, and part-time for, our overtime, for 100 for a total of $11,990. And then an increase on their other contractual, I believe, $3,383 is for a COT online system? Yeah. Right. Yeah, so I think the top line there, in terms of the position hired that you had filled was at a higher rate.
Correct.
And, okay, that's what's driving that.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to fund Department 150 in the amount of $213,815.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Can I ask a quick question? Because I was reading under the budget commentary, under full-time salary, it says,
It's the wrong one.
oh, it's the wrong one.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Moranti had brought it up to the town clerk and I prior to this. Thankfully, this is just a draft budget, but we'll have that. Cindy and I will work together on fixing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Okay. All right, thank you. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that happened.
Wow, that's very strange. Yeah, oh, wow, that's weird. I apologize, no, that's weird.
Yeah.
Okay, health incident, page 189, we're jumping to?
Yes, yep, 410. The numbers appear on 191. Decrease of $472, representing a 0.4% decrease. This is essentially the health district, and based off of a population decrease, the new number is 17,445, and that's why the budget is 116,881.50 cents.
Per capita staying the same, but we have had an indication that it may go up in '25. So there may be a change going forward.
Okay. Okay, can I have a motion to approve, please?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
motion to approve Department 410 in the amount of $116,885.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Health and Welfare Services, 193.
Yep. That appears on, numbers appear on page 195. And that, no increase there. Numbers are the same.
No change?
No change.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Underwood?
motion to approve Department 412 for $53,865.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is social services.
430, numbers are found on page 209. The requested increase is $930 for 2.96% increase, which is just the 3% increase in terms of salary.
Okay, I have a motion to approve, please.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
motion to approve Department 430 in the amount of $32,310.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. And unclassified. My favorite.
Unclassified, yep, 830, found on page 235. No increase, zero. Number remains the same.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve unclassified, please?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Underwood?
motion to approve funding for Department 830 in the amount of $30,000.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay,
Did a lot tonight.
we got through quite a bit tonight.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Okay, we're going to close our work session for tonight, and we will determine tomorrow, see what happens with the
Right.
weather.
See, we'll
All right.
take a look at the forecast.
Great, thank you.